Saurabh Mukherjee, Head of Equities, Ambit Capital, joins us on the show. Saurabh, hi, morning. Do you think the sentiment now may be acutely positive in the near term after the recapitalization of Spain?
I think perhaps acutely positive might be a slight exaggeration, but clearly over the next couple of weeks, the European Union and the ECB will do plenty to make sure that financial markets stay positive. Around the Greek election on 17th, I think the ECB will both intervene in the market directly and also, I think, announce other measures to shore up investor confidence. To the extent the European issue is the main risk issue hanging over global markets, that risk could meaningfully abate over the next fortnight.
Saurabh, we too have held out pretty well. Do you think this is just a global market reaction because global equities as well have been holding up, or do you think this is in anticipation of what the RBI may do because there are talks of a 25 bips cut coming in?
I think the rally last week, both in India and globally, was because of largely European factors, the sense that the European Union is about to up the ante and come to the rescue once again. The domestic rally, whilst I think the market expects a 25 basis points cut from the RBI on 18th of June, I don't think the market has made too much out of it. If on 18th June the RBI cuts by 50 rather than 25, I think you will see a quite meaningful rally. If, on the other hand, if the RBI doesn't cut at all, it might be a mild disappointment. I think the big driver at the moment is Europe. Domestic factors, whether it be policy paralysis in Delhi or events in Bombay, are quite secondary at the moment.
Saurabh, so how should investors survive the current adversity?
I think the question, this sort of situation has been revisited again and again over the last couple of years. Our advice to investors is don't try to play the short-term speculative rally which seems likely to come. Once again, I think risk assets could rally, especially if the Greek election goes the right way, the Greeks vote not to leave the euro. The risk-on rally could come quite quickly. The European Union will fan the flames of that with a mixture of QE and LTRO. But I don't think these sorts of risk-on, risk-off rallies are easy to play. They require a lot of skill, a lot of judgment, and they're popping very quickly. Our advice to investors remains focus on fundamentals, strong balance sheets, high-quality companies, well-managed companies. Buy them now, they're at sensible valuations, and stay with them for the next year as the economic climate stays quite rocky.
Saurabh, like you just reiterated, two big events that the market would actually, take cues from. The Greece election outcome as well as, for us, the RBI credit policy as well. How much more upside do you see till these events actually pan out?
I think the Greek elections will be a fairly powerful affair. If Greece does choose to stay within the European Union, I think the risk-on rally could well take globally. It could take risk asset classes up by 5 to 10 percentage points over the next 1 to 2 months. If on the other hand Greece does decide to exit and anti-austerity parties get a big vote, I think then over the rest of June you'll see a slew of measures from the European Union and the ECB to recapitalize banks, to re-inject confidence into the European financial system. That in turn could also lead to a risk-on rally, but that would be a less powerful rally than the one you would get if Greece does decide to stay within the European Union. So either way you look at it, I think sentiment will get bolstered over the next couple of months with the sheer extent of ECB intervention. I think the joker in the pack will be the European Union summit at the 26th, 27th, at the end of the month. If in that summit there are hints of the beginning of a fiscal union between the European countries, if on 26th, 27th Germany appears to bless a fiscal union in some shape or form, that could be a very powerful catalyst for risk assets to rally globally. I think this is probably going to be a defining fortnight for how the rest of the year will play out in terms of risk appetite.
Saurabh, let me divide my question into 3 parts. What is your short-term market outlook, medium-term market outlook, and long-term market outlook?
The short-term market outlook, ironically, is the hardest of those 3 questions. It is quite contingent on which way the Greek election goes. But as I was saying a few minutes ago, I think to some extent the European Union will have to underwrite this. If they do not stabilize markets even in the event of an adverse Greek vote, if they do not stabilize market, then the cost to the EU are quite substantial. Therefore, on a short-term basis, I am betting that the EU will come to the rescue of financial markets, and hence I'm relatively positive in the short term. Medium-term outlook, once you look beyond an immediate blast of LTRO or QE, medium-term outlook is necessarily quite sober. I think the European crisis will take a long time to unwind, will take a long time to settle. So in the medium-term outlook, I think we are once again looking at sluggish markets, low to modest risk appetite and modest flows into emerging markets, into India. Longer term, taking say a 1 to 2 year view, I'm much more optimistic. I think the current pessimism, especially in India, about structural weakness, about systemic issues, I think it is way overdone. We've written quite extensively about it over the last 2 weeks, that this whole notion of policy paralysis is getting overblown by some sections of the community I work in. And I think over the next 1 to 2 years, provided global risk appetite normalizes to some extent, I think India will normalize to say 15 to 16 times market multiple, something like 1250 on the Sensex earnings, and therefore an 18 to 19,000 level on the Sensex. Our forecast for the financial year end for the Sensex does remain around 18 to 19,000, and our GDP growth target for FY13 is somewhere around 6.6, 6.7. We remain more upbeat than consensus on India's outlook over a 12-month basis.
Saurabh, may sound like an easy or maybe a dumb trade, but is it time to buy airlines, OMCs, battery companies which are dependent on global commodity prices? Given the way how global commodity prices have corrected, these companies could report a strong margin expansion?
I think there's a number of different types of trades. For example, the airline trade you mentioned there, that will be fairly contingent on FDI coming through. Now, I really don't have a view on whether FDI and airlines will or will not come through. A number of people say it will come through in the next couple of months, but I don't have a strong view on the subject. On battery companies, if I were an investor out there, I would buy both Exide and Amara Raja. At current valuations, I think they're both looking tasty. They're both high-class franchises, proven brands, and at this juncture of the auto cycle, where the auto cycle is close to bottoming out, I think there's good grounds to buy high-quality franchises of that sort, and almost leave aside the lead price exposure. I think both companies have shown consistent ability to deal with lead price exposure quite well. Now, the broader commodities pack, oil and natural gas companies, metals and mining companies, will still stay underweight that pack. On oil and gas and metals and mining, government intervention, regulatory issues are fairly meaningful in our country, and I don't think this pack, whether it be oil and gas or metals, I don't think this pack will escape material government intervention over the next couple of years. Perhaps an odd name like Petronet LNG does stand out like being a good buy, but generally natural resources is not something we overweight on.